Yes, dear God our Father, we ask your blessing on this commission today as we undertake our business. We are reminded of your admonition that we render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. We will attempt to do that today, keeping in mind the final judgment that we have to face with you. Amen.
Amen.
Reminder for everyone to please silence your cell phones. All right, let's see. Next would be roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Webster, you said is excused.
Excused.
Commissioner Holzhausen.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Garber.
Here.
Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Commissioner Emery.
Here.
And Chairman Broder.
Here. All right, today, right now I'd be looking for a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on today's agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of that approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is approved. Next, I'd be looking to approve the minutes of the March 16, 2023 Board of Commissioners meeting.
I'll make that motion to approve those minutes.
Support. I've got a motion with support. Discussion on the minutes and the changes. All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Commissioner Garber, if we could handle approval of the bills.
All right, let's get the bills paid. I move to approve the invoice edit reports dated 3/17, 3/24, 3/30, 3/31, 4/6, and 4/14, and authorize Treasury to draw warrants for the same in the amount of $8 million, $131,188.43.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Further discussion on the bills? Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Garber.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard.
Yes.
Commissioner Emery.
Yes.
Commissioner Webster is excused. And Chairman Broder.
Yes. All right, the bills are approved. At this time, we have our first opportunity to address this board. We've got a couple of slips up here. Remember, you have 3 minutes. Mr. Cook.
Thank you. Tom Cook with the Cook Family Foundation in Owasso. I'm here with a couple questions. One, I don't quite understand why the county's turning down an opportunity for a $50,000 investment to help people who are in need in this county. And then I have a larger question of, does the county want to partner with nonprofits to help address community needs? Cook Family Foundation, our mission is to work with nonprofits. We work with all sorts of nonprofits in Shiawassee County and those that serve Shiawassee County: arts, environment, youth, seniors, those in most need. I feel fortunate that we live in a country where we don't rely on government to do everything, that we look for these public-private partnerships, and I see that nonprofits are one of those really great opportunities to bring the community together with government to address needs. We've seen that done a lot in this county, in local governments, county governments, state governments. We've worked with all sorts of organizations to do that, like to do that. Again, they're all unique in their own way. They have their own skills and resources they bring. Some of them access local private resources, some of them access other state, federal, or other local resources that they can bring to bear in our community that we don't have in place. And so that we've always worked with nonprofits to do that. And earlier this year, back in February, there was a proposal that was brought to the, I guess, I'm not even sure which committee it was brought to, where a $15,000 investment from the county would be matched by a $50,000 investment from the Cook Family Foundation to support the work by Capital Area Community Services to assist people who are facing foreclosure or need financial counseling to help prevent them from foreclosure. I think the motion was tabled in February and has stayed on the table. I think there was a discussion yesterday. I wasn't there. I'm sorry I couldn't make that. And I guess there's a particular as to why that doesn't. To me, we've got a limited budget. We give away less than $1 million a year we are always looking for the way to make the most out of the dollars, the limited dollars that we have. And this one seemed like a good one. I know CACS, they've been around for decades. They've got expertise in childcare, seniors, housing, food delivery. But one of their particular expertise is in financial counseling and support. And I just think they're a great organization. They serve multiple counties. I know Cindy serves on their board. And the fact that they wanted to bring that service to Shiawassee County, and where in other counties, other counties invest in that, and so to have some small investment from this county to help spring that and bring that service just made sense. So those are my two questions. One is there something I'm overlooking about this particular opportunity that doesn't make sense for this county? And the larger one, does the county want to partner with nonprofits? We work with nonprofits. Should I tell them, no, the county doesn't want to work with our community nonprofits to help address needs? So those are my two questions.
The commissioners at the end of this portion at the end of this book will have the opportunity, if they wish,
Okay.
to address your questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Teresa, I'm sorry.
Ban cow.
Say it again.
Ban cow.
Dan Cow. I
Yeah.
know I've seen your name before.
Okay.
I just forget how to pronounce it, please.
That's okay, like a band and a cow. I'm gonna agree with Tom, that's not why I'm talking, but I work for Social Security and there is a huge need for that type of service in our county. What I'm talking about today is, we had someone come to our house. I wasn't home, I was working at the office that day, but they were asking questions like, do you want more economic development in our county? Do you want more marijuana places? And I'm thinking, geez, we already have 5, don't we? And they wanted to know about solar and whatever, and wind, I think. But they were saying they were a county employee, and I said, I don't think so. And so that's why I'm asking, is there someone from the county doing that? If not, then someone is out there speaking for the county. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, I know the Planning and Zoning Committee are working on the overall ordinance, and some of the changes that I'm seeing, I'm wondering why. 2018, we worked very hard on getting a very protective wind ordinance, and for some reason the direction is to lessen it. At the last meeting, there was many people who spoke about the solar. They want a more protective ordinance, and we're already seeing there is a couple townships that are pulling their zoning and planning back because the county is not protective enough of the residents. Caledonia just made one of the most protective, I think, not only in Michigan, but in our surrounding area. And the people just had enough of that eyesores we're seeing with these solar industrial parks out in our rural areas. And also the wind. We worked very hard. We worked about 3 years on that. So is it under the direction of this board? Is it Pete Preston who's putting in these more relaxed ordinances that he wants? Is it Bonnie who's on that board? I kind of want to know where the direction is. I always hear from them, restrictive. It's not restrictive because we all have energy. We all have electricity. So that is not a restrictive when you make it protective of your residents. And I do have some court information here, how the judge ruled. There's different zoning things here on the limits, so I'd like to have you all have that information. I'll just leave it here with Carolyn, she can kind of distribute that. But those are my questions. I'd kind of like to know who's pushing for more relaxed ordinances when that is not what the county wants on either of those, solar or wind. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? You can just then go ahead and identify yourself and have your 3 minutes.
My name is Kimberly Singer, and I own, as most of you know, assisted livings on Vandecar Road. I feel like I have been invaded. The solar farm has engulfed my business. I could have gone anywhere in Shiawassee County to build my assisted livings, but I was born and raised out in Lennon on the farms, and I love farming. I love it. This is not a farm. If you know the definition of a farm, and we all do, there's not livestock, there's not crops anymore. This is an industrial park. Sunday night, probably 5 weeks ago, 11 p.m., I get woke up. That's my third shift. They're petrified. There's a huge semi-truck driver in front of our barn. I don't know what he's hauling. This man was so sweet. I'm on the phone with him. I'm like, it's so cold. We were in the middle, it was an ice storm. I said, just stay right where you're at. Do you have a sleeper in your bed? Yes, I do. I said, I don't want you backing out onto Vandecar Road. And I said, I'm sure that you meant to be next door. So I'm concerned about a lot of things. I'm concerned about not just my business and the value of my business and my land. I feel like it's taking away. It's depleting. It's a minus for sure. Not just for the business. I'm concerned about water, my sewer, my wells. I'm concerned about a lot of things, not just the radiation, not just the things that is common sense that we're seeing. And I'll do everything that I can to prevent it from happening again in Caledonia or any other township in this county. And I just think that if you guys would please look into this. This is not what it seems at all. And the people in the area, they are very upset over it. I am on speaking terms with Mr. Dutcher. I am concerned. I just said, you absolutely robbed the soil. It will never be able to be a farm again. You reaped it of all of its riches, all of its nutrients. There's so many things that are not right with this. So when I have a rest home out in the country that I have worked very hard for, I have huge loans for, this is out in the country. What in the Sam are we doing putting an industrial park out in the country among residents, around elderly? I mean, hindsight, had I have known that there was going to be a solar park in our backyard, it's on both sides. And if you haven't taken the time to just drive by, which I think many of you have, but if you haven't, I encourage you to please look at what is going on. It's horrible. It's a horrible eyesore. It's not farming. It's not country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Before I open it up to commissioners, if they'd like to comment, Dr. Boggs, would you comment about the county employee thing? I know we talked about it, or didn't you handle it anyway?
So Commissioner Webster brought that to our attention earlier this week. We do not have any county employees doing anything like that. I talked to the sheriff. The sheriff is investigating it. He put out a call related to it to have people on the lookout. And I think he also posted something on his Facebook page, the county Facebook sheriff's page, about that. Those are not county employees. We do not have anyone out there surveying or asking for that kind of information. And just a couple notes, I believe that is in Caledonia Township. Caledonia Township does their own planning and zoning. That was not approved or went through this board related to that. And just a note about township planning and zoning, the county only does it by default. And when we do it by default, it's because the townships themselves have given up that authority to do it themselves. They have the power, the right, and the responsibility to do their own planning and zoning. And so if they wish to take it back, that is the default position. Us doing it is not the default position. So there are several townships that have taken it back and do it themselves. We only do the ones that, for whatever reason, have chosen not to. So it does not apply to the entirety of the county.
I understand that. I'm here just on behalf of business, and how it's affecting a small business. I want all of you to know as my county commissioners. It's a horrible ordeal, and thank you for that knowledge. I did not know that.
It's outside our scope because they do grow.
Sure. Okay.
Commissioners, would anyone like to comment on any of the things that are brought up? Just a slight reminder, the item that Mr. Cook is still on the table and may be debated at a future time, and I don't want to limit anybody's comments they want to make right now, but that will likely come off the table at some point, and we will have to still debate it and decide on it. But if any of you would like to comment on any of the things brought up today, now is the time.
I guess, Greg, I would just kind of reiterate what I said the other day, that when I did meet with Lori Kimball, the Register of Deeds, and I asked her to include the information on foreclosures in her annual report, which she gave us the other day. Over the past 5 years, the information that was included, we have less than 100 tax foreclosures. Total over the 5 years, actually 0 last year, and that's probably from the My Half program, paying people's taxes instead of working and paying them like I do. So even that aside, over the past 4 years, and over the past, I remember having this conversation with Tom Dwyer years and years ago about a land bank, and his comment to me was, we don't have enough foreclosures. Because at that time he wasn't looking at the economic development piece, but just what we all think of typically with land banks as tax foreclosed properties. It's just never been, for whatever reason, a big problem in this county. Certainly, as Julie pointed out, for those few people, it's a problem. And while I would love to help them, and I think this program is great, I just don't think that's our job.
I want to note there was 100 parcels, not 100 houses.
Right, good point, thank you, Brad. Yes, a lot of those were just vacant pieces.
Anyone else? Just then, I guess a side note, if we're offering our off-the-cuff opinion, I understand what my fellow commissioners are saying, and yet I also, I am hard-pressed to turn down $50,000 that could be used in our community for certain educational needs when our investment is only 15. That seems a really good return on our investment. So I tend to lean toward that type of thing, looking at the benefit to the county and the opportunity. But as I said, that item is still.
It would be just good to have clear guidance to people, to nonprofits that want to work with.
I'm sorry, Tom. We don't
I'm
back
sorry.
and forth.
Sorry.
There will be another comment,
Yeah,
a chance for public comment at the end of this meeting,
I
and
understand.
you're absolutely welcome.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing else from the commissioners, we will move on. All right, committee reports. Gary, can we start with you today?
Yes, I'm on the 911 board. They haven't connected the sewer line yet. I guess they're gonna start that anytime
So,
with all the permits.
I heard they got all the parts they needed now.
Yeah,
Yeah?
well,
supposed to be Monday.
yeah.
Okay.
The parts are there, and so is the earth moving equipment.
Okay.
Also, they wanna do when that goes through, they wanna redo the parking lot and maybe, do fencing around it. And, also, it's coming up, they talked about it, we only got one tower for the county. And they're talking about, putting another tower up because they have problems, a lot of places when they're in places around the Shiawassee and places, they don't work. Only thing a tower is over $2 million, so that's kind of moving a little bit slow.
Wow.
And they gotta have a place for it, so they're working on it though, so. Also, on the senior citizen board, we just talked about it yesterday. They got approached the old high school. They want to donate part of that to the senior citizens, and they already got a big kitchen and everything in there. So maybe it might work out. Cause the one in Owasso, the kitchen's real small, they wanna expand it and expand out in front and everything else, the building, it's gonna cost thousands of dollars. And that's just talk, so they're gonna, it might work out that they have more room for exercise and different classes, and they got a lot of different things going on there, so. That's kinda, thought it was kinda nice. I'm on the Health and Wellness Board. There's 12 people on the board, and we're gonna have 4 new people on there, and so that's gonna be quite a change. And also, they're still worried about that the state wants to privatize that health and wellness, so, but that's still on the back burner, so. I'm also on the SEDP board with Justin Horvath, and he's getting lots of grants, and there's lots of opportunities for businesses to hire people, and so there's lots of money out there for those different things. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Garber?
I don't have anything else today, thank you.
I was at the road commission meeting. They're sitting good. Mainly, they got all the plows and everything off, and they're in full blown summer mode. They're grading roads. They're widening the gravel roads where, as they grade them, they have a buildup on the shoulder, so they're scraping that off into the center. They have a stockpile of gravel, but they think they might have enough for most of the summer already because most of the townships are paving instead of using gravel. That's what they're doing now. And they're looking for more summer help. They found that they only pay $12 an hour to start, but it looks like the going rate is around 15. So they're going to 14 now to start, with 50 cents if they return next year. So that's about it for the road commission.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, so I'm on planning commission. We're gonna talk about one of the things, under economic and physical development, item C, the zoning amendment. And then the other thing, coming back to the public comment, we haven't actually released new ordinances yet, so I'm not sure where the public will be seeing that we relax any. I don't think that's the plan, so I'll talk to the individual after the meeting, and we'll see what she saw. But as of now, in that commission, that's not the plan, is to relax those 2 items specifically. Some of the other items we're gonna clean up, which are years of build up every year. Somebody adds something new, and lots of the requirements don't make sense, so we're going through that. That's a big thing. The other item, or the other commission I'm on, is Parks and Rec. Again, both of the things we talked about in that meeting are going to be talked about tonight under economic and physical development, item D, and then health and human services, item A. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Emery?
Yes, I'm on the courts and public safety committee, although with the county, but also with MAC. And MAC has been emphasizing the fact that there is a state Supreme Court case pending that could have an impact on the funding of the courts, up to 25% of funding in the courts, and that the case deals with the constitutionality of judges being able to order defendants to pay costs. And so that could, it's difficult to predict when the court is going to issue its decisions, but as I say, there's a one condition pending, and MAC, the Association of Counties, is keeping an eye on it, but it may have some impact on us as we move forward. That's
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment to make a little public service reminder, I guess. Our hazardous waste cleanup for household hazardous waste is in Durand this Saturday, I think from 8 to noon. That's something that's paid for out of some money from generously given to us from Waste Management. And I'd encourage anyone who has chemicals sitting around the house, anything other than latex paint, to bother to go there. We need to keep this stuff out of the environment. It's very, very nasty when it gets into our water, into our aquifer, and so on. So I know it's a little bit of a bother, but it's well worth the time if everybody would pitch in and load your trunk up and take it out to Durand on Saturday
Where's it at?
at the City Hall.
Oh,
So I believe 8 to noon. I'm almost sure about that time, but it must be on our website somewhere.
is that it?
So, yeah, it's a really,
They'll take anything? Other
as
than-
far as I know, I called the other day because, believe it or not, I have some battery acid that have been sitting around for years. Yeah, believe it or not, battery acid. Not in a battery, just the acid. And I don't want to dump it in the environment, and they said they would take care of it for me. So that's a marvelous thing. Insecticides, all sorts of old stuff on your shelf.
That's what I have is pesticides and insecticides.
They
If
will
they'll
take-
it. I'll
They
load
will
my
take
truck.
that, they will make sure it's properly disposed of. It mustn't go into the landfill because landfill is not there to handle hazardous wastes. So.
That's why it's still sitting on my shelf.
Yes, it's a good thing to do.
Well, thanks for mentioning it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the emphasis is on what's defined as hazardous waste as opposed to solid waste, which is a lesser, matters of lesser concern. But these are hazardous waste, so they are significant and important to the environment.
Yes, Mother Nature is nicely set up to take care of natural waste, biological waste, and that sort of thing, but not set up to handle the multitude of new stuff we create to make our wonderful life. So we have to do our part and clean up after ourselves. Better living through chemistry, but we have to clean up after ourselves. So that's all. I just wanted to make that little announcement. All right, if we can move on then to our motions, Commissioner Howard.
Yes, I move to approve the 2023 total equalized valuation and authorize the board chair and county clerk to execute the necessary documents.
Support.
I've got a motion with support. Any discussion on that item? Do I need a roll call on this one?
Yes.
I do. A roll call, please.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes,
Commissioner Webster is excused, Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the rehabilitation mortgage discharge for Felix and Saragosa Aragaga of 409 Robin Street, Owasso.
Support.
A motion with support. Any discussion on that item? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
yes,
Commissioner Webster is excused, Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the zoning amendment from B1 neighborhood commercial to M2 heavy industrial and authorize the board chair and county clerk to execute the necessary documents.
Support.
Got a motion with support. Any discussion on that? Commissioner Howard, you wanted to say a couple, I knew you did yesterday.
Yeah, so this is a parcel in Perry Township. It's owned by the Perry DDA. It was previously a service station. At some point in time, it's been cleaned up since then through some grants. It sounds like what's happening is there's a parcel next door that's also M2. The same people that own that would like to purchase this. And then, so they both can be M2, and they are planning to use it for a propane storage station. It's between Lansing Highway and I-69, right by the old road commission garage.
A little bit of economic development going on.
Exactly.
That's nice, rather than vacant, polluted property. Roll call vote on that, please.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
yes,
Commissioner Webster is excused, Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the Henderson Park grant declaration and notice as presented.
Support.
Motion with support. Discussion on that item. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster is excused. Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move to accept and place on file the 2022 Register of Deeds Annual Report as presented.
Support.
Motion with support. Further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
You don't have to do one on this one if you don't want. I'm just saying.
All in favor of approving that item signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item passes.
I move to approve the remonumentation peer review group members and the remonumentation contracts as recommended by the surveyor.
Support.
Got a motion with support. Discussion on that item? None? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster is excused. Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes of the April 17, 2023 Economic and Physical Development Committee meeting.
Support.
We have a motion with support. Discussion on the minutes. All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Garber.
Thank you. I move that we approve the purchase of a new firewall for 911 in the amount of $12,979.
Support. Emery.
Motion with support. Any further discussion on that item? Just wanted to again mention this is sort of almost a maintenance thing with 911, that they have to replace this and update rather frequently, and this comes from their budget. Is that correct, Dr. Cross?
That is correct.
All right then. Any further discussion on that? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster is excused. Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move that we approve the purchase of a new 2023 Chevy Tahoe 4x4 police responder in a total amount of $33,453.26.
Support.
Motion with support. Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster is excused. Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move that we approve the minutes of the April 17th, 2023 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Discussion on the minutes. All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, Commissioner Webster isn't here. Any volunteers who would like to do her? Commissioner Johnson, did I hear you volunteer? Thank you.
I think you did.
I was pretty sure I did.
I move to approve the submission of the Community Corrections Grant and allow the CCAB to take the necessary steps for submission.
Support.
Motion with support. Further discussion on that item. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster is excused. Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move to approve the purchase of an industrial washing machine for the jail in an amount not to exceed $10,392.
Support.
Motion with support. Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster is excused. Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move that we approve the reappointment of Ruth George to the Shiawassee County Jail Board.
Jury board.
Jury Board, sorry.
Support.
A motion with support. Any further discussion on that one? Roll call vote, please.
You don't have to.
Don't need one.
Not one, I don't put.
All in favor of approving that signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes. Somebody will get that down.
When it involves money, you do roll calls
Okay.
Or a contract.
or contract, and then if there's conflict or something's edgy, then you do it
I move to approve the minutes of the April 18th, 2023 Public Safety and Courts Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Discussion on those minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the minutes have passed. Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
And back to you, Commissioner Garber.
Thank you. I move that we amend the parks plan to include the addition of a footbridge to the Chi-Town Park.
Support.
A motion with support. Discussion on that item.
I think Commissioner Howard raised some really good points. I think this is kind of pie in the sky and that we should stick to a more reasonable, attainable plan.
And as I said yesterday, I totally understand. Commissioner Howard and I were both the no voices at the Parks Committee, saying that there's no way this board will be able to approve matches of hundreds of thousands of dollars with that, and yet with the idea that there's a possibility that they could come up with other monies, or maybe find a way to bring down the cost of that bridge. I thought it was reasonable, at least let them try. They have to have this in there to try. So I understand the objections. In fact, I was part of them, and yet I kind of feel we should throw it in there and at least let them give it a try. We talked about this quite a bit. But anybody else have any more comments? Yes,
Yeah,
Commissioner.
I think it's a waste of money to even think about it. We got Pine Grove Park out there on 52 in the county line, 23 acres, and it's just looked like a tornado hit the place. They don't want to spend any money out there. The last couple of years, they cut it down, a little bit of grass, and that's it. I think they should go out there and at least take some of the dead trees and spend a little money out there right now this year. Somebody walks out there, they could get hurt. That
I
place
hate to
is,
be
nobody's
ignorant on
even
this,
been out
but
there
do you
and
know
looked
why?
at-
Do you know why that park has been closed? I really.
because nobody wants to spend any money on it and do any work. They just got all their favorite places and that's it. It's in my township, New Haven Township, maybe that's why. Maybe I should have said that.
That's a beautiful park,
Probably
and
not.
I agree, Gary. We
There's
should put
over
some work
23
into it.
acres out there.
Yes, Commissioner.
I recognize the limitation on funding and the concerns with that. But on the other hand, we hire these folks to look at things in more detail, things that we can't necessarily look at in detail. And I don't think we should unduly restrict their views, their ideas. Because they recommend it, doesn't mean we have to go along with it. And so we have, as our oversight, we have that ability to control that. So I don't know that we need to prevent them. If this is an idea that they had, at least they can bring it up if they think it's that important.
I won't rehash my comment from yesterday, but I would like to add, we all, I think, were in agreement that it would be a great idea to have that bridge. I think that would be a great thing to have, and we funded some engineering studies to understand how much it would cost, and when the cost came back too high, I think that's the point where you say, okay, it was too much, that's not an attainable goal, we need to stop there. We wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have known what that was if we didn't fund those studies, but I think you have to have that data to make the right decision.
Anyone else? I'd like to call roll call on this one, please.
It's a plan. Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster is excused. Commissioner Olshausen?
No.
Commissioner Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
No.
Commissioner Howard?
No.
Chairman Broder?
Yes, so that's 3-3, and that fails.
All right, I move that we refill the WIC registered dietitian position at a grade 9.
Support.
Got a motion with support. Further discussion on that? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster is excused. Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move that we approve the chairman's selection of Brian Marks and Jerry Haber for the Solid Waste Committee and Jeannie Ladd for Health and Wellness.
Support.
Got a motion with support. Further discussion on this? I think roll call vote, please. Well, yesterday it was not unanimous,
Okay.
so I thought a roll
Okay.
call vote today would be a good idea.
Agreed.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
No.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster is excused, and Chairman Broder.
Yes, that passes.
I move that we approve the minutes of the April 18th, 2023 Health and Human Services Committee meeting.
Support.
I've got a motion with multiple support. Further discussions on the meeting, on the minutes, excuse me. All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the minutes are approved. At this time, thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
At this time, we mentioned yesterday the possibility of a truncated schedule combining our Wednesday and Thursday meeting probably for, I'd say, our next, say summer months, May, June, and August.
You skipped July.
Kind of on, yes, and July, yeah, that other month I didn't mention. Those 4 months, now we could give that a try, or we could make it a shorter time period. Thoughts, people?
I'd prefer June, July, August, because that's kind of summer.
Okay, June, July,
Summer
August.
doesn't technically start till June 21st.
Other thoughts, folks? We're,
I'm okay with May, including
Yeah.
May or not including May, it's either way. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
I think
okay
we ought to
with
include May and
May,
make,
June, July, August, I'm okay with all of it, or any piece of it.
May starts in summer. So this must start May.
June 21st is Sam's birthday, and it is the first day of summer.
Okay, so May it
the,
is.
the weather. I think the weather tells us May is kind of summery.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, well, the road commission did take their plows off, right?
They did take their plows off, yeah,
Oh, very good.
That's a
Yeah.
sign.
that's a good sign, isn't it?
Prefer to keep our schedule as we established it in our organization meeting. We're paid to be here, to conduct our business, and I think we ought to do it according to the full schedule that we set.
Right?
I think Tom has a good point, but I think if we just tried it to see.
Summer's usually fairly light.
Yeah,
if it's
years ago, they used to meet 4 days, twice a month. So they made 8 days out of the month.
Wow, what did they do for all those days?
Talked about the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I feel like we do a lot of
Walk it,
that.
talk it to death. I was here at the meetings. I mean, I wasn't a commissioner then.
So if you wanna leave it the same, you don't need to do anything. If you wanna change it, you need a motion, or someone to make a motion.
I'll make a motion with specific months.
I will make a motion that we entertain a summer schedule for June, July, and August, where we consolidate the Thursday meeting into Wednesday.
Do I
I'll
have
support
support
that.
on that?
I'll support it.
We have a motion with support. Is there any further discussion on that?
I'd like to start it in May. I'd like to make a motion, we start it in May.
I think we have to deal with the current motion
Oh,
first.
okay.
He can amend it.
We can amend it. Would you like to amend that? Do you have a
Yes.
motion to amend the motion?
I'd like to amend the motion that we
Does
start
anybody
in May.
second the amendment to the motion?
I'll second that.
Wow. We don't usually have this sort of thing. Now, so we have to vote on the amendment.
Correct.
Discussion on that. I would like to say parenthetically that some of you may recall my brother passed away a couple of years ago, and there is a family memorial for him this summer on the 2-year anniversary of his passing, and unfortunately, as things are, it ends up on July the 12th, which is our Wednesday meeting, so I won't be able to attend that one. But that should not have any effect on setting our schedule. So, any further discussion on the amendment? All right. So now we would approve, somebody help me out here.
Vote on the amendment.
Have to vote on the amendment,
And
and then we vote on the whole motion. Okay. think we're good on that.
3-2.
So the amendment passes, and now we will deal with the motion on the table, which is to change the schedule at all. All in favor of approving that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
4-2. And that passes. We have a summer schedule for May, June, July, and August. And obviously, if we find that it's causing problems, we can just have another motion and put it right back where it was. It's, that's our option to set the schedule. We set it at an organizational meeting, and occasionally we change things. Our requirement is that we make sure to do it in a semi-timely manner, post things and so on. There's no violation of anything in our changing our schedule. It is the pleasure of this board when we meet. All right, then that taken care of. If somebody would make that second motion for me, please.
Yeah, I move to approve the minutes of the April 19th, 2023 Committee of the Whole meeting.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Any discussion on those minutes, excuse me. And all in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Thank you all for your participation tonight. I am not, I think I've said what I need to say in the last couple of meetings, so I'm gonna skip this one. Dr. Boggs?
I gave my report yesterday, I don't have anything to add.
Very good. This is our second opportunity to address the board. So let's see who I have you. I have Matthew Shepard.
Well, it appears, I'd really like to see this washing machine that the jail is getting for over $10,000. And in my remarks to the topic, it includes wasteful spending of our government. It's not bad enough that we've got an administration in our federal government that's doled out nearly $200 billion to a country that despises us. How about our governor giving nearly $1 billion to a communist organization? I'd just like to know when people are going to stand up, because now they want to take our weapons. That's the first step in destroying this nation. If this county, which is supposed to be a Second Amendment sanctuary county, steps out of their bounds and goes unconstitutional, how many people in this county are going to give up their weapons? How many people in this nation, this state, are going to give up their weapons when we have so much wasteful spending at every level of government, not just the federal? We've got probably the most amount of weapons per capita in the world. You think the federal government's going to come down on everybody that owns a weapon, especially veterans? They've got another thing coming. And if this sheriff doesn't honor his oath and protect the people of this county, he can easily be replaced. Recall, whatever. I've had numerous conversations about Dominion voting. That should be eliminated immediately. Since 2017, when it was implemented in Michigan, it's done nothing but waste taxpayers' money. Ballot harvesting and everything else. You just gotta watch it on real news. CNN, ABC, NBC, all that crap. I stopped watching back in 2009. You want the real, honest truth? You've gotta watch somebody like Glenn Beck, or Sons of Liberty, or BitChute or Rumble, something that gives productive means to the news media. The rest is garbage, like I said before. Thank you.
Shelley Ockendicky, please.
thank Chairman Brodeur and the council, or sorry, I'm in the wrong meeting here, right? Commissioner Olshausen for coming to visit the shelter, taking a tour of Shiawassee County's first and only 24-hour, 365-day-a-year shelter. There's many, many services that we offer besides just housing our homeless there, and it's a lot to just try to take in a few minutes and explain. It's great to have a tour. Invite any of the other commissioners that came. Actually, Dr. Boggs got to come also. And we are making a great progress with a lot of different things. But I want to bring up to the point of the county is that I've had to work with 2 homeless veterans in the past month. And I had a great experience working with Stacy, and I did not get her last name, from the VA. She's a coordinator at Saginaw. She was very helpful. She was very compassionate for our veterans, and I just would like to commend her. If you guys ever sit on that committee, please share that. That was a great experience because we don't have one obviously in our own county, given that we typically only have about a handful of veterans at a time that might be homeless. I have one currently in shelter who came to us actually from the hospital. He's doing amazing, and the services that we're getting out of the VA in Saginaw has been really wonderful, and they've really taken in everything that we need to have looked at, and experience with them has just been so positive. So just wanted to share that. He's doing well, and we hopefully will be kind of working towards housing soon and being able to help him get to a better place. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. Paula Brooks?
Paula Brooks from Duran. Just a couple of quick questions, or a comment and a quick question. Is this propane storage for the I-69 corridor group, or is this for a smaller local business? I know that I-69 corridor group had been looking at doing a propane storage, a larger facility possibly for the county, and I didn't know if this was part of that, or if this is just a local business that wants to do a propane storage. And my other comment is that I know that your group has many meetings, 24 or 26 meetings between all of you that you split up. And I tend to agree with doing the May, June, July, August, September through May again. So, thank you.
Thank you. Tom?
Yeah, I asked 2 questions. We talked about the CACS one, but I guess I'm still concerned about where the county's approach to nonprofits are and how to proactively do that. I heard mentioned tonight SEDP, the Shiawassee Council on Aging, the hazardous waste facility, which the Conservation District and the Friends of the River all worked on in Henderson Park as well. All things that are either nonprofits or nonprofits played a really important role in making those happen. And I think it's just, I think they're a wonderful resource. A couple of our speakers, I think, work for nonprofits. And I think they're a really important resource, and I think it's just important that the county give a clear signal about how and when they want to work with nonprofits to get things done. We're all concerned about dollars, trying to get the most out of them. And I think nonprofits have a really good ability to try to leverage those additional dollars and make more things happen than otherwise would happen. I understand the debate about the bridge. It's probably a bridge too far, but I think if we look back at the history of Chi-Town Dam, which was a problem, a hazard, the county couldn't deal with it, the state couldn't deal with it. The Friends of the River, as acting as a nonprofit, were able to pull together funding from a variety of sources, work with various governmental bodies, including the county parks, and now we have a wonderful park facility there. Without the work of the Friends, we never would have had the opportunity to even talk about a bridge there. So I think it's really important that the county make a clear policy and maybe try to create some formal way of outreach to deal with nonprofits. They're ones that can help with homelessness and housing and economic development and our environment and the seniors and youth. And I think all of those things our people in our county care about. We want the most bang for our buck, and I really think nonprofits can help do that. So I don't have a specific proposal, I didn't come with something, but I think trying to figure out some way where the county can collaborate more with nonprofits would be beneficial to everybody involved. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, unless more of my fellow commissioners.
I just had one thing, Greg.
I would love to, you go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure there was no misunderstanding that the hazardous waste collection is not a partnership with anyone. That is run by our health department.
Okay. And, Tom, if I may speak to sort of both sides of this, because I'm,
Just, Cindy, I know this one is, but the first one, the Friends funded the first one and got the first one's go.
Okay.
And the Conservation District, which is also a 501c3, runs other hazardous waste and e-recycling functions. So, yeah, different, again, all partners, nobody should get all the credit, all the blame. So anyway, I'm sorry, Greg.
anyway, I was just gonna say that, seeing both sides of it, I don't think that we have any particular policy where we're hostile to nonprofits. As you say, we have worked with them in the past. We have a difficulty and sometimes legitimate disagreements. People of very good will and good intentions can disagree on things depending on what the priorities are set. On this particular one, I think you heard a good smattering of it. The offer was very generous, but we preach, and especially me, all the time about our debt, about how tight our dollars are, and how we need to pay our people more. And even with as generous a donation, I'm sure some of my fellow commissioners felt that perhaps of all the things we could participate, maybe this wasn't the most efficient use. I looked at it a little different. I found the educational opportunity a pretty good one, and I thought with that kind of contribution that it seemed a real good idea. It seemed a real bargain. But again,
It would generate more tax revenue for the county.
but again, I wasn't debating. I just wanted to point out to you, I don't think this is indicative of any hostility or anything toward nonprofits. It's a genuine disagreement on this board and about this one particular.
A lot of people
item.
spend a lot of time and energy to put that proposal. It'd be better
I
to just
have-
say, this is, we don't want to work with these groups, so. rather than-
And again, I don't think this is any kind of a blanket statement about your organization or anything else. It was just a certain amount of reticence about spending that money. At some point, there are so many different things out there. We have limited funds, and I can understand my fellow commissioners with their no vote. I just do. And I assume they can understand my yes vote. So like I said, I hope you don't find this insulting. I hope you don't, see it as any kind of a blanket statement. So that's all I have to say, unless somebody else has something to say. We will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.